So I'm driving in Europe for the first time. I don't know what the signs say. I don't know what the people are saying. I don't even know if I'm on the right street. And here my car is dying on me every time I stop. Hey guys, it is October, and so it is time to start the October Growth Mindset Challenge. The challenge for this month is to practice collaborating with friends on my YouTube channel. My friends are Jephthah, Steve, and James. Here's how it's going to work. At the end of this video, I'm going to ask Jephthah a question about the topic we've chosen, which is cars, and Jephthah is going to, in his video, answer that question and then ask Steve a related question, and so on until the end of the month. Then, at the end of the month, we'll have a wrap-up video. Each video will be posted 1 week apart on Wednesday, so keep your eyes open for that. So, I have a question in mind for Jephthah about cars, but first I want to tell you a story about an experience I had with driving cars in Europe. So my wife and I decided to go to Europe on vacation this past June. So we bought our tickets and flew into Brussels, and we decided instead of using public transportation, we would rent a car from Brussels and drive it around Europe. And the car that we rented was something called like a Citroen or something like that. Anyway, we've got this car and we leave the airport, we drive into the city of Brussels, and I got really confused by the roads. It was almost as if the engineers had taken spaghetti and dropped it and then created the roads based on however the spaghetti fell. Now, that's probably not what they actually did, but that's definitely how I felt at the time. So not only are the roads super confusing and the street signs are almost non-existent there, I noticed that every time I stop the car, it dies on me. So I'm driving in Europe for the first time. I don't know what the signs say. I don't know what the people are saying. I don't even know if I'm on the right street. And here my car is dying on me every time I stop. I had no idea why it was happening. I assumed that since all the other cars that were available for rent were manual and this one was an automatic, that whoever had made this automatic had just done a poor job of making it automatic. It wasn't until later when I was talking to a friend that I found out that it's illegal in Europe to have your car idle for more than 2 minutes because of the pollution. And so they create cars that basically shut down when they're sitting still and then start up again automatically when you start driving. So that's why this car was dying on me. It turns out that Europeans are very strict on car pollution. A friend we were visiting in the Netherlands told us that in order to drive a diesel vehicle into one of the major cities, you had to go online and literally get a day pass permit for you to be able to drive into the city with a diesel. Otherwise, you would have to park outside the city and rent or ride the subway into the city because they didn't want diesel pollution in their cities. So that was a very interesting experience, and I was relieved to find out that there wasn't anything wrong with my car. I just didn't know the rules of the land. Okay, so now, Jephthah, question for you. And it comes from an article I was reading about a guy who designed his own cars after building replicas of Lamborghinis and Ferraris because he couldn't afford the real ones, and then he got sued by them to not build the cars anymore, so he ended up designing his own cars. So my question for you is, if you were to build a car and you could make it however you want, would you make it after a model that's currently out there, or would you design something new? And if you were to design something new, what would it look like? I'm looking forward to hearing about what you have in mind on Wednesday.